and welcome to Warhammer Joey. This is episode 25 and it's a painting tutorial, sort of. It's the first one I've ever done, and with the new setup I've moved around, so I have a wall again. I have done my first Wardancer. Yay! He's pretty. So I'm going to show you, as some of you have asked, if I can walk you through what I've done with some of the painting and how I do it. None of what I do is professional in the slightest. I change my mind about colours, I mess it up, I get shaky hands, and yeah, it's just what I've done and what I've been trying with some new things. So at the moment I kind of like the colour fading of red to orange to yellow there, so I'm going to try and do that on all of these guys. And yeah, I'm going to show you what I have done. So we got some white undercoat here, just some nice detail coming up. Yeah, turning him around. Oh, there's some leaves. So what I want to do now is just go over some of the few areas with a wash and just see, oh lovely, blurry, and just see what I can get out of it, so I don't ruin anything with the foundation and then miss some minor details. But yeah, he's looking pretty sharp. Pretty sharp. Oh, devil in mud. They don't do it anymore. Okay, so I'm going to go over some of the boots here, just to show you what kind of effect that it has. And it's nothing major, I mean not too much discoloration, but you can see how it goes in the grooves, and those are something that I want to keep sharp when I paint over them with colour. Right, I'm doing his face. Oh, that's too heavy. That's too heavy. Make sure not to pull it in any edges, but that's it finished. And you can just see the expression. So we've got the new Citadel paint that I bought, and I'm just going over the boots. I actually paint at that speed. It's a learned skill. And the red. Now this is what I'm trying to do with some colour fading here. So I'm going for a dark red at the top, then orange, and mixing that with the red, and then kind of blending it so it doesn't look too obvious and stripy. It just kind of fades into one another. I love the camera focus. And then a much lighter orange, which I'm going to highlight to a yellowish, but not so it's too bright. So that's what I've got for a foundation layer for those at the moment. What? Smiley face? It's because I'm happy. Okay, I'm doing some extra finishing bits here and brightening up the bottom and just blending it a little bit better. And there we go. That's it done. Not finished. I've got to do lots of washes and highlights. Okay, so I'm doing his skirt? What is that? What is that? Is that a skirt? It is now. Right, I make a mistake there for a little bit with some yellow on the legs, but I fixed it. Right, so I've gone with tallow and flesh on the skin. There's quite a lot of skin, so I'm nervous about this because I'm not very good at keeping it look crisp. There we go. There we go. Looking lovely. This is the Khemri brown. I'm putting it on the hair. It's not a brown really, it's a greyish colour, but it just means that I can make a colour difference between the skin and the hair, so I don't go over anything or wash too heavily. But it's coming together as the foundation layers are going on, and you kind of get you know, a clear image of what the whole thing looks like. So it's wash time. Got sepia, devil in mud, and the sepia is going on the skirt because it's a yellow colour. I also put this at the bottom of the loincloth. Loincloth, that's a weird word. Loin. Ugh. There we go. So I've got some gold, it's going on the swords. He's got 3 swords. He's got a pocket sword. Why does he need a pocket sword? He's got 3. When can you get that out? So that's them done. Still got some washes to go on that. Right, this is dry brushing. This is how you do it. And I'm using this one just to highlight a little bit the skirt that he's wearing. Please excuse my hands. I'm not very ladylike and I don't have fancy nails. Girl painting's got lovely nails. I don't. And that's how you do it. But obviously on a tissue. Use a tissue, don't use skin. It takes ages to get off. So here we go. Dry brushing. Just go over the tips of the grooves. Just the edges there, just to make sure that the colour comes out a little bit more, but don't cover it. Just gently go over. And I do that on a few areas on the bottom of the loin. Ugh. There we go. Sunburst yellow. Devlin mud. That's the wash brush. Going over the sword there. I kind of want it rustic. I don't want it looking too clean. It's the new skin colour that I bought, and I'm going over the skin areas like the knees and the face. And then highlighting it a little bit more with a dry brush. Now, this is where I get a little bit messy. And he's got the angriest face I've ever seen. Look at that. It's a bit like Khal Drogo. Watch Game of Thrones. Yep, so you can see the detail coming out with the washes there. And I tried not to pull it too heavily, and if you do, just dab the brush off a little bit and just go lightly on it. So I'm doing like a very, very light wash on the face there, just to keep the features prominent. And on the back, they've actually got really good muscle detail on these, even though the faces might not be very great. Right, here's where I change my mind on the hair colour. I want it red. Much like the troll slayers of the dwarf army, I like that the whole unit has kind of some key matching features, so I'm kind of doing the same thing here, and I'm just going with red, much like I did with Dryker. Is looking better. So there we go. The hair's coming out nicely. I'm going to highlight it a little bit and try and do a mix of Devlin mud and Bowl red wash on the hair, just to show things like the plaits. The hair, yep. And I'm doing the gold on the arms and the waist and the legs. I've got that theme running with the rest of my Glade Guard as well, so I just thought I might as well keep it. Bowl red, wash brush, wash brush, wash brush. What did I say? Brush wash? God knows. Bleach bone. This is what I'm using for a little bit of highlighting with a smaller dry brush. Just going over the edges. Because I'm not very good at highlighting with a tiny brush. I'm too shaky for it. I can't seem to get it right. So I just do a very light dry brush instead. This is the blood red that I'm going to now do on the hair. Focus. There we go. There we go. So it comes out a little bit brighter, but it's still got the darker red as an undertone. It's not too scary. It just kind of makes it a bit bolder. I need to get a new dry brush. It's pretty stiff. That's what she said. So there we go. Hair's pretty much done. I don't want to do too much to it because I risk making the little hair segments merge into one. I've done that before, so I'm just trying to do it very lightly. I'm also thinking with this pose I'm going to get a new base, one of the tree log ones, just so it looks a little less odd. Yeah, the muscle definition's very good there. And I'm going to do another wash in that groove, just so it shows up a little bit better, but the colour's coming out really nice on the loin cloth. And yeah, I'm liking how it's going so far. The blades are a little bit too golden, but I'm going to do a bit more highlighting in certain areas, and some leaf detail. But you know, it's going pretty well. Yeah, that pose is weird. Right, so it's leaf time. I've obviously sped it up quite a bit, but you do want to take your time with things like this and use the smallest brush you can. And don't water it too much because, I mean, obviously thin your paints and do it layer by layer, but if it is really small detail that you're doing, you just want to ever so slightly cover the areas. And yep, I'm just going to use I'm not going to use a wash brush because it's far too big, so I'm just using a tiny paintbrush just to catch it and then put it in between where it's got some little indents just to show up a little bit, and then I'm going to highlight that a bit better. But you can see the colour on the loincloth quite clear there and how it's faded, and it's blending into one another, and it's not liney, you know. So again at the back, just going to go over that very slightly without having any. You see, I put too much on the brush and it's come off a little bit, so I'm just going to clean that up a little bit in the areas. Because it is yellow, I don't want to have the green affect the skirt. It looks very Scottish with a skirt and red hair. So yeah, looking good. I've decided to call him Pensive Pete because he looks so bloody miserable. His face. I'm not great on the face. What I'm also not doing here is the eyes because they are so tiny. I don't have a brush small enough to risk effectively ruining the whole face. But the skin is currently quite dark, but you can see on the elbow there, the way the model is done, you can really see like the muscle around it. I was quite impressed with that, how that came out. So I'm just using a very, very light dry brush. You can see it's going on and bringing it out just a little bit without ruining any of the wash effect that I've done on it previously. But wow, he's got a big nose and some scary eyebrows. Looks like his nose has been broken. Maybe that's me. It's probably me. Wow, look at those brows. But yeah, very carefully just going over some of the areas and on the knees as well, but not taking away too much colour and not covering it completely. I just want to get just the little ridges there so it really shows up. But the skin's definitely a lot better than my first attempts. Oof. See Clay God unit for more information. But the colour detail I really like on this so far. I like it's not too focus. There we go. It's not too scary. It's just kind of hints of colour every now and then because the Wardancers have a lot of skin. So just making sure that is very clear that it is skin, and at the back is very bare as well, so lots of detail. I'm not going to touch the yellow areas too much because, and I'm certainly not going to cover it again with another wash because it is very, you've got to be very careful. But look at his face. He looks so awful. Oh dear. So there we go, that was my painting fun time and less of a tutorial and more what I've done this morning. And yeah, it was fun. I like doing it. It was good to see, and you know, I'm watching it back and how different it looked from the beginning, and even little minor changes really made the whole thing look really different. But there are obviously professional people that you can look at, like Awesome Paint Job and Worthy Painting, who have actual proper information, I just don't. But if you're interested and you like the colours, then that's what I did. Feel free to ask any questions. And yes, like if you like this, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in a bit. Goodbye.